have now reached the intersection where ideas, beliefs, and perspectives collide. So be free to be you. It's the XrossroadZ Podcast with your hosts, author, speaker, and transformational strategist, Barzini, and entrepreneur, empowerment coach, and tech diva, Dre Renee. If you're ready to talk love, business, politics, and everything in between, you're in for a ride. Welcome to the XrossroadZ Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? It's your man, 100 Grand, your personal agent for change, making life easy, Barzini.
And I'm fempreneur extraordinaire and tech diva all day, Dre Renee.
And this is the XrossroadZ, where there's only one rule.
Be free to be you.
Man, it feel like, why do I feel like we ain't done this in a minute?
In a while, yeah, you know.
Has it been a while? We ain't missed no meals.
No, I mean, to them, it hasn't been a while because we do what we do every week. But for us, yeah, it's been
it's been what, 2 weeks?
Yeah,
since we've sat down at the round table.
Mm-hmm. At the XrossroadZ.
So y'all, it's gonna be interesting. This week is we're changing the format just a little bit. This week we gonna do Q&A with Barz and Dre. So we've pulled some of your questions off of the internets that you have posed, and we're gonna address them right here on the XrossroadZ. On today, like they say in church, on today.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be it's just been some interesting takes in the last couple of weeks. I've done a couple of other shows and have had some very interesting interactions. Some that I don't know.
We want to hear about those too.
Huh?
We want to hear about those too.
It was real interesting. Couple of panel discussions, and then I did a one-on-one podcast on a show called Chasing Yancey.
Mm-hmm.
So we were talking about how to make dating fun and giving advice for women, like what they should do during dating. So I had a lot to say, but it was real simple though. I just said participate.
Yeah. Do you have to tell people that?
Yeah. I mean, participate meaning you got to do more than show up for the things he's
That's what I'm saying. Folks
date
and they just are like, here I am.
Mm-hmm. I had a conversation. Well, she actually says it's like, so I've known her for quite some time, and she admits that she had the princess syndrome. Like, I'm just supposed to show up for dates and be good company. And I was like, what? and
sometimes people are not aware that they're not good company.
Good company.
Like they think their presence is good. Is
enough, right? Now, sometimes it's great company, but at the same time, it's like you assume even that wears down, because it's like, as a man, you spending time planning stuff and you're paying for everything, and it's like, at what point is she showing, like, doing the little things and showing tokens or whatever to show she's interested, or that she likes you, or that she's vested in this, instead of just receiving all the time? Mm-hmm. So we kind of unpacked that and everything else. So yeah, we're just telling the ladies, hey, participate. It's okay to participate in on the giving side. Right.
Please do. And what about the panel discussion? It was men and women, or?
Yeah. It was I don't know if I could even recap all of that. We went in so many different directions, but we did kind of touch on what we on episode 2, our episode 2, Race to the Worst. Mm-hmm. And I actually, so I actually had a very interesting revelation, and I've been having a few revelations this week because I did a fast and a cleanse, and
getting ourselves
right. Mm-hmm. But one of the young ladies was on the show. She was saying something, and it kind of got into that back and forth of, a black man is always pissing on black women and blah, 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 blah. In my head, I'm like, but y'all do that to us. You know what I'm saying? It's like, y'all do this. And then it just, like, the spirit hit me, it was like, I just got snapped out of it real quick because you know how I'll jump in and I'll comment and do these back and forths a lot when we're talking about, relationship stuff, and I'm an advocate for men and equity in relationships. But I just really, it was just a tug on my spirit. It's like, you're personalizing this, right? And I just noticed this is what a lot of people do. We include ourselves in the number that's being talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she's talking about how black men is pissing on black women, and I'm hearing it as if she's talking to me or about me.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that's not me. So it's like, why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling in this moment? Right. And
That's
so
good.
I had to like learn, it's like, pull yourself out of it. And this is like for everybody, like you have to pull yourself out of that. Now, on top of that, the documentary that we talked about before on Netflix, Social Dilemma.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of juxtaposed that conversation with what I learned in that documentary about social media algorithms, right? And
Right.
so there's a reason why we see what we see. There's a reason why we only interact with certain people, because they keep feeding us these same people, and they keep feeding us the same content that we typically respond to. So it's like, oh, Barzini responds to relationship stuff. Barzini responds to women that are talking about men. Feed it to them.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And so the things that you're responding to the most is what you're getting fed the most. So now the optics are, so if you're a woman that you're always commenting or reading the post of men that are pissing on women, that's what they're going to feed you,
Right.
because their objective is for you to continually interact on the platform, right? So if this is what you're interacting with, whether it's just something that you enjoy or something that you're triggered by, they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
feed it to you, and they're gonna feed you the people that's saying it. Oh, you know what I mean? So it's the content, it's the people. So now the people that you're normally interacting with that are posting this content, now they're feeding you those people, because those people are posting the same stuff, and
Right.
you're constantly getting it, going back and forth, like, you know what I mean? And so now the optics are like, black men are pissing on black women, or black women are pissing on black men. When, yeah, there are some that are doing it, but if your entire social media experience is this, because of the few that you're seeing it from, the optics and the belief now becomes it's inclusive of all, or at least most. You know what I mean? And so your lens, your mindset, and the trajectory of all that begins to be shaped by this experience, because it's meant to keep you interacting. And it was just like crazy to come to that realization
That's good.
during that. So yeah, that's how it went.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're glad that we get a chance to, hear from you every week. These other audiences got a little sprinkle, but hopefully you told them to come on over to the Crossroads and hang with us week to week, where
Right.
we explore, the different topics that we get into, relationships, personal development. And you know what? We should slide that way, and
Mhm.
give the folks some personal development. I think we definitely talk a lot about personal responsibility and healing and accountability, ownership,
Mhm.
but also not just recognizing where we're lacking, but now developing the tools or connecting to the tools and resources so that we can be better. And you actually have a phenomenal tool and a resource, right? Like you have
Funny
a
you should say that,
great
because
tool.
it just so happens to be right here next to me. I keep it near.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my first published book, Hello Me, Nice to Meet You. It's actually been published for about a year now, but we're going to be doing a big campaign for this pretty soon. So details are TBD on that. And it's going to be some interesting things for some investors. You'll have that opportunity to invest and create a stream of income connected to the book. So look for that. Look for that information coming to a bank account near you.
I love it. I love it. So let's, before we get into our letters, we have our opening segment. I found one.
Oh.
I thought this would be great. So go on and kick us off, and then I'll
So,
be ready to read.
well, so this is our weekly installment of the fuck. And if you don't know how to spell it, it is DAFUQ ?
Question mark. Yes.
So what you got for us this week?
Okay, so actually follow quite a few bridal and wedding pages. And so one of these bridal pages says, when a man likes you, swipe, he will communicate with you about everything. Look at your face. He will do anything in his power to make things work. Swipe. He will always aim to be consistent in your life. I believe that.
Well, he said, he will what?
He will always aim to be consistent in your life.
Okay.
I agree with that one.
Okay.
He will be open about things. I didn't even see this. This is a long one. But the part that stopped me was he will communicate with you about everything. I said, ooh, sis, or whoever put this up.
Yeah, it could be one of them simp dudes. And I just saw a video the other day with some dude that was like, hey bro, like y'all need to forget taking her to the movies. Y'all need to be booking trips for her and blah 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 if you like her. And I'm like, bro, okay, so this one.
Yeah, let's go. So you got 60 seconds. 60 seconds on the clock.
60 seconds. Okay. Am I addressing all of these or just like
whichever and whatever?
All right.
And go.
Okay, 60 seconds. Listen. If a man likes you, he likes you, but everything is, we're not monoliths. And this is an example of one thing that I said, when you want something from us, we're monoliths, but then when we're addressing something about you, not all men are the same. Not every man, there are some men that will communicate about everything. And if he does, you need to ask yourself, are you able to handle that everything that he's communicating about? Now, be careful what you ask for, because you start learning this information and you want to be like, hold up, like, that's too much. However, in general, that is the furthest thing from the truth. Everybody has things that they don't share and probably aren't comfortable sharing. And if they don't share these parts of themselves or the parts of their lives, because there could be things that they don't want to even remember anymore, you got to respect that. And so I think you should focus more on how the relationship is going and how you're being treated, and the direction of it, versus what you think he's not telling you. Because the more you think he's holding back, it can go south.
Oh! Go ahead. Go, Barz, go. And it was a complete and robust thought.
In 60 seconds.
I don't even think I have a full 60 seconds. The reason why I picked this was just what it said to me was, if he likes you or loves you, like, he'll do whatever, right? And that is not necessarily the best measuring stick, because we've talked about love languages, we've talked about traumas, and there are just certain things that, people as individuals, they may not be comfortable with, they may not know how to do, they may, kind of need to know, is it safe to do this with you? And so to make those kinds of sweeping generalizations, it can be hurtful to your relationship, or if you're giving that kind of advice, it can be hurtful to the relationship of the person that you think you're helping. So, we say it over and over, you have to do what works for you. And if you're not sure if a man likes you, then just ask.
Hey, where have I heard that before? Just say,
just ask. So that's my minute.
Bam.
That is my minute.
Now, see, as soon as I think I'm doing good, you always got to do better.
What I just did what you did.
In less time.
It's all good. So let's go ahead and get into some of these scenarios that
is a scenario. It's a scenario.
I know, that's why I said it both ways. Let's ask Google.
I'm gonna go with Tribe Called Quest.
I'm gonna say I've grown up with scenario.
So what's a scenario?
Hey, Yeah.
It's scenario.
It's scenario. Okay. We're not even going.
R.I.P. Fife Dog.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good music. Good music. Okay. Well, let's start at the top.
I'm scared.
All right. Yes.
Because I don't know these questions.
Not all of them. Some of them he's seen, but some of them are new, or it's our first time. It's definitely our first time discussing all of them. So he may have seen these, maybe as he was, going about his day, but we have not discussed them until right now. So that's
going to be unique because we normally talk about this stuff off air. So y'all, usually when you see the show, you're getting the second conversation about this stuff because we have a bad habit of in our pre-production going into full discussion about what we're supposed to be talking about on the show, and then we always be like, "Oh, we should have been recording this." So, yeah.
But actually, before we get into conversation, let's take a break to recognize our sponsors.
Yes, this episode, as usual, is being brought to you by the House of 334. So, for all your copyright branding needs, go to houseof334.com. Our most faithful sponsor, y'all got to check that out. All right. And also brought to you by Carbon 12 Clothing. That's Carbon 12 without the vowels. .com. That's CRBNTWLV.com. And you got to rock that new Black Madonna that they got going on. So
absolutely.
I haven't found a place
working hard so I can get my crop ministry on.
You said your crop ministry?
Yeah, I need the crop ministry.
Okay. And if you are a business that needs promotion, you can contact us, send us an email, and we will talk to particulars about promoting your business, especially Black business, especially finpreneurs in business, but we welcome all business, y'all. So yeah, now that we've paid the bills.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely. So let's go ahead and get into this very first letter or scenario, as we said. Okay, here we go. A wise man or woman once said, playing house will only get you but so far. What do you think about that?
Playing house will only get you so far. Okay, so that's creatively worded, right? Because we have to define playing house. What is it? What do you mean? Because some people will look at a couple that's cohabitating but not married, but they're in a serious relationship, and then they'll say, someone will say, they playing house, right? And then you have somebody that might be, and are we even talking about cohabitation? Are we just talking about in a relationship and we acting like we're together or acting married, but not for the purposes of this conversation, what are we defining as playing house?
That's good. Let's say cohabitation. Let's go all the way in there, right? So you're living together, you're in a relationship for an extended period of time. Let's say over 2 years.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how long it takes people to move in with each other, but I think by 2 years, you may feel comfortable enough making that, if not longer. So
I've never cohabitated with someone.
Well, not you. Just a general you.
No, I know. I'm like, listen.
As hashtag Boo would say, unless you're a hobosexual, and that's how you get taken care of.
I've got 7 years on my record. I've got 3.5 years on my record, and
7 years. That's a long time. But you were very young.
Yeah, he was young, but 7 years is 7 years. So, okay. So they're cohabitating upwards of 2 years. I wouldn't even call that playing house. You living, you
just doing what you do.
What you do. And I think people, and okay, I'm speaking from a lens of someone who has never been married, right? But my purview was like, what's really going to change? You know what I'm saying? It's like you're living this life, so, okay. I got a frat brother, as a matter of fact, who told me how he got married. Like they was living together for years. They had kids together. Like they already have a whole family, but they weren't married, right? And that turned into an argument one day. I guess it was an ongoing conversation, but they were in the car going somewhere arguing, and he got fed up with the argument. So he U-turn, pulled up to the courthouse. They went in, paid their little fee, got the license, went to the courthouse, got married, got back in the car. He looked at her and says, "Do you feel different now?" Like, like your life is already merged. Now, if if being married, specifically just being married, I want to, being called husband, wife is what you want. You want the certificate, you want the ceremony. Okay, cool. But to think that a life that you're already living is going to change anything, like, are you going to act different because you had this ceremony? Because if so, I question what you were doing this whole time.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you already got bills together, you got all this other stuff together. So I'm not saying what's the point of getting married if it's just something you desire, but I don't think that it's playing house.
Okay. And whether we use playing house or whether it's the shacked up or giving away the milk without buying the cow, all the things, right? I was raised with any or all of those. And that was just what it was. Like, the man needs to, and it's so interesting now, because now that we question these things and we have the kind of conversation, it's like, yeah, how is a man supposed to know, that you are the woman that he wants to be with for the rest of his life or your natural life, to merge your lives together? That's, your finances, that's liabilities, that's like all the things. And then if you decide to procreate, like he wants to then, go half on a kid or two. And how does he know this? How do you know this? Quite frankly, if, you're at your mama and daddy's house and he's at his mom and daddy's house, and you don't know until you're actually doing it. Now, there are plenty of people who did it just like that, and they are, married to this day or married till somebody passed away. But we talked about this on an earlier episode. 54% of marriages. Is that the divorce rate, or is that that make it?
That's the divorce rate.
Okay, so
and it might be higher.
Over half. Okay, you under half that make it, and it just doesn't seem smart not to take the time, whatever it is that you decide to do that measures that. It doesn't seem smart to just forego any of that. So whether it's, and I've heard it attached to, making meals for a man, you giving away the milk for free. Of course, sex is in there. You're giving away the milk for free. If you do decide to cohabitate, you give it. Now, cohabitating and you move into his place, you're not really giving away no milk for free. You got the free. I don't.
And not to mention, everybody expect it to be free anyway, because half of them expect him to pay all the bills.
Yeah. So I do a lot of things.
What's the milk then? Like, we talk about giving away the milk, and like, what's the milk?
What's the milk?
What are you doing?
Yeah. I think the milk is it's the woman. It's 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 her period.
We don't want her period unless we're not trying to have kids. I know what you meant, but you set that one up.
I know. But yeah, I mean, all of these things that I don't think we really think about until we're having these kind of conversations, because we've heard these things and it makes sense to us because nobody's ever questioned it. So far be it for me to tell anybody to do one thing or another. But as I've gotten older, and of course, living inside of this particular relationship, or even in the previously, it's like, oh wait, this is not as cut and dried as you thought it was, or how it was presented to you when you were a child. It seems like it, but then as we mentioned, like, our parents are divorced. One of my parents is divorced twice. So it's like, and not to say that they weren't giving what they thought to be sound advice, but it doesn't mean that it's infallible. Right. And so if nothing else, take it and measure it for yourself and not just take it and run with it. That's
Yeah, you got to. I would love to bring that up on the live and do a what's the milk.
What's the milk?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
and like I want to hear from women on what's the milk, and then I want to hear from married men and
Mm,
and find out.
we got to get them there.
Yeah, I want to know what the milk is. Like you
Did
married,
you
so
get the milk?
what's
Did
the
you
milk?
get the milk?
Did
I
you
think the milk is intended to mean the goods, the goodies. But if you've gotten the milk,
yeah, but because I heard someone was like, well, we were talking about like paying bills and provision and protection and all this other stuff versus like what does the woman do? And she's like, well, who's gonna wash your clothes? Who's gonna cook for you? Who's gonna blah 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 blah? And I'm like, do women really think that we just standing still with dirty clothes, starving the whole time before we?
hey, some of y'all are. No, like, or you just go buy new drawers and they just stack them
Whatever,
up in the corner for you.
whatever.
But you
works.
make it. I think that's what it is. The bottom line is,
Yeah.
however you do it, you guys.
Now,
do
granted, if there is a woman that is doing all those things, that's a huge convenience and a huge help. Cool, bam, you know what I mean. But someone was talking about, because I brought up the fact that if cooking and cleaning and everything else, I was like, so you're gonna do that every day? You're gonna be cooking 7 days a week. You know, if you're talking about if sex is part of like what you're bringing to me, it's like that means there's no chance ever that you're ever going to tell me no when I want sex. Like you're always going to be in the mood, right? That's what you're saying. Because these bills that you expecting me to pay, I don't get no day. I don't get to say, I got a headache. I ain't paying these bills. There's no breaks. There's no not tonight. There's no we don't get that.
That's good.
There's no break in provision. There's no break in protection. I have to protect you always.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Physically, emotionally. So
y'all deserve a day off.
like, here's the bills. Pay them with what?
Y'all deserve a day.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like the milk gets a lot of breaks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the expectation is, it's but everyone's favorite YouTuber, Kevin Samuels, always says, he's like, women control access to sex. Men control access to relationships and marriage, right? Which is by and large true, because we control what the other is actually pursuing in a lot of ways. Like, not to say that women don't want sex, but like men are by and large pursuing it. You know, like we are the aggressors or the seekers when it comes to sex, and women either use it as a tool or weaponize it or whatever. Not always, but that's you're able to weaponize sex because that's what we're in the pursuit of. Whereas on the other end, women are looking for the companionship, the relationship, the monogamy, the marriage, and that's what we control access to. It's like, you know what I mean? And I think it gets lost in translation because he is who he is, and he does what he does the way he does it. But if you like just think of that from a logical perspective, it's actually quite true.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying about being the seekers primarily, because of course we know that for everyone we can find somebody that's potentially the opposite. So we get that, but overall, in our experience in life, we can likely say the majority of men that we know or been in contact with are probably on that side of the line, and then the women on the other. Because I know somebody's gonna be in the comments like, that's not 100%. That's not 100, but I do understand what you're saying. Gatekeepers. So like, yeah, in sex, the man wants it, but the woman, and of course vice versa too. But the buck is supposed to stop if she says, no.
Right.
And for marriage and relationships, yeah, if he doesn't ask you to marry him, I mean, I guess you can be like Chrissy and Jim Jones, and you can ask him, but you gotta wait. You gotta wait till you get a question, or he has to agree to want to be in that exclusive relationship with you. Speaking of Chrissy, somebody I saw, she just turned 50 recently, and somebody was like, she's still not married. to Jim Jones. And I was just like, wow. Now that is that not an example of playing house will only get you but so far? I mean, now she's out saying like, I don't think I want to be married, but I think personally it's because she sees that he's more of a liability, than he is an asset at this point. So now she's like, maybe we don't need to join our stuff together. We could just lost one of their houses and something else is going on.
At 50, she's enough an adult to make whatever decision. But also at 50, it's like, I've been here this long. Like, wow.
Look.
And I don't know much about I used to have to watch that show some years back.
I used to have to watch it.
Yeah, because it came on Thursdays, and Thursdays was her day for the TV. Yeah, and I'm like, but I only remember one moment in one episode, and I don't know who the little short white guy was. He was somebody's manager.
Okay.
And he was talking greasy about Jim Jones or whatever.
Oh, this was like first season. That was Samaya's.
I don't listen. I just know Jim Jones, and so they were at some bar, and
he made him apologize.
And he pulled up.
Yeah,
and like the homies, and the homies was ready to get with him. He was like, "No, how Jim Jones was like, don't touch him." But this fool said, and he was just like, he was giving them the prayer hands. Do you think the things you were saying was conducive to walking around this city in a comfortable manner?
You would think that just happened yesterday. You remember that pretty well. That was verbatim.
It was too funny to not remember. Do you think what you were saying was conducive to you walking around this city in a comfortable manner?
Oh God!
Listen, I fell out.
Yeah.
Out of every episode I had to watch, it was worth it for that moment. That's the only moment I remember.
that was hilarious. Well, they are still,
and they still together.
Yeah, they are still together. So yeah, sis, if that's what you want at the end of the day, cool. But for as hard as she went for so many years across multiple reality shows, like they had, Love and Hip Hop. Then they had Chrissy and Mr. Jones and Chrissy or whatever. They had their own thing. They was on Marriage Boot Camp. Like they.
Listen, all I know, and no disrespect, because I don't want them pulling up with the homies and whatnot.
Oh, is it gonna be conducive to us doing our podcast?
I'm comfortable anyway. I feel no one, but still, for the sake of political correctness.
Oh, okay.
All the money they was making and all these shows that they've been on, did this dude ever get his braids freshened up? Like they always just seemed 2 weeks old. No matter what it was,
fabulous.
Them braids just was never fresh. Like, bro,
I think his hair might be really fine. I'm gonna go with that. He looked like he got,
Indian in his family.
I was like, I don't want to use the wrong terminology. All hair is good hair, but you know what? I was going that direction. Yeah, I think it's just he has really fine hair, so
less than
probably not his jam. But
clearly it's his jam because he keep doing it. But I don't know if it's his ministry or not.
Not.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, it just seemed like you just always going like this. Wrap them up something, but I just know bro braids was just
that's hilarious. Now wrap them up. Okay, well, one down. Next question.
Okay, well, next question.
So the scenario is a young lady is getting back into the dating scene, but choosing to do online dating. And most recently met a gentleman, and they're really hitting it off. Conversations, maybe in app, outside the app, but phone, texting, that type of thing. And now it's time to meet. So the plan is, or establishing a plan, she put it out there. Hey, I'm willing to drive out to wherever, meet you halfway, whatever, kind of works. And his suggestion is to slide through. And so she's uncomfortable with that. And the question is, am I old fashioned where, I'm thinking that this is not the way to, kind of start things. Is this the way things are? If I am online dating now, can I expect that this is, kind of the norm? And also, she did let him know that she wasn't comfortable, and now, it's crickets on the other end.
I don't know about the norm, but I will say this: online dating lends itself for people to be a lot more bold, right? Just like on social media, keyboards make people a lot more bold because it's like you can say something and there's very little consequence in the immediate. You can, if they respond adversely, you can just, what I'm saying, bounce, and you don't really have to. It's easier to cut off that communication, right? Because it's not a face-to-face interaction or whatever. And so online dating is also a numbers game. It's not like, how you met someone when we were younger, you actually had to be at a function or a public setting or something. And so it's like this conversation and this interaction that kind of goes on. And so I think back then, because the initial meeting was different, I think the interaction, the comfort level, the curve for the comfort level was different because you've already interacted with this person. Whereas online, there's a lot more apprehension because you know nothing about this person, even in interacting, because you have so much opportunity to create who you are. You can be anybody you want to be, and because of that, I guess there's some, I'm gonna use my Stephen A. Smith word, trepidation in meeting up. So I think it's a safety concern, and that's smart. However, you do have some people who are more comfortable and it's cool with it. In my experiences, a lot of women have been comfortable, chilling at one of our homes, on a first date. So I think it just really depends on a person's individual makeup, their trust levels, what the interaction was before that time. And so I don't think either are right or wrong. I think it's more about the intent. And I guess his based on his response, the assumption was his intent was that of a sexual nature.
What it sounds like, yeah.
He was trying to smash, get the draws, touch that thing.
Oh, Lord.
get
the milk for free.
Get the milk. I'm gonna make that a thing.
That's a thing. Like, you're trying to get the milk.
Right. Hey, what's up with that milk though?
Oh, God.
That milk. I'm trying to get that milk. What's up?
Oh, God.
She gonna call the homegirls immediately. Girl, this nigga said he want the milk. That just I'm trying to get that milk, girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you make that even sound sexy?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Damn, girl, this milk wet. You telling the homies and shit. You're like, hey, nigga, you hit? Nigga, she got that milk, bro. She got the milk? The milk.
I can't. I cannot.
Hey, you gotta blame this. You can blame the beverage.
Yeah. What are you drinking over there?
I am drinking the Glenlivet.
Oh. There's different colors and levels, right? I've seen different.
Yeah. There's definitely different levels.
Okay.
So this is some Caribbean Reserve. I don't know what level this is, but it does its job pretty well.
Okay.
So, what you got?
I have #Boo made me a Diddy water. I don't know what's in it, but it tastes really good.
And the fact that you sipping it with a straw, like it's not your glass at your own home.
Well, because I'm on with a little lipstick. He gave me a straw, so I'm
Okay.
using my
Yeah.
straw.
Listen, all cutesy with it. I'm
My
sitting over
executive
here.
producer makes sure that I'm right
Oh,
all
okay.
the time.
Shout out to the EP.
Yes, make sure I'm right. But it's a nice, like a refreshing cocktail. What's in it? I think it's like some hypnotic because that's where you get the little green color
Some
and some
Ciroc
Sprite
because
and
it's
some probably or something.
well, if it's called Diddy water, I'm pretty sure it has to be something that.
But I wonder. I think this was out. I don't know how long Ciroc has been out, but this is not a new drink he's made. He's been making these, so I don't know if it had anything to do with that. But that's a good assumption. Yeah.
I just never thought I'd see the day when #Boo is now a bartender.
Oh, for me,
I
this
mean,
services ain't for everybody. Pour your own drink.
congratulations! I'm finna serve you bitches notice. My man ain't making none of you bitches no drink.
He is very kind. So if you were, somewhere where he was, he was hosting or something like that, he'd make sure you straight.
She's so professional.
That's how we do.
I'm gonna ask her again off the air and see what
he better than me. All right.
I better get
what you need.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go on. Oh, I don't. Was I supposed to say something? I was supposed to say something. So yes, safety first. Safety. I think in this particular situation, like you said, I think she definitely. Well, I would say you potentially dodged somebody that was only interested in one thing or interested in that thing right then.
The milk.
Especially to that milk, especially to not respond afterwards. And so I don't think, there's nothing you can really do about that. I would hope that your experience going forward would be that you would encounter, potential partners that would understand that, right? Like it's a safety concern. It's, maybe you're just not comfortable yet, or it's a preference. I like going out. Shoot, we've been in the house for a year and some change. And so, provided you guys are both comfortable even with that and you're exercising safety precautions, you might really want to go outside or be somewhere that's not your house. Inviting someone into your space is special for a man or a woman. And, we're discussing this #Boo, and I was discussing this a little earlier that, the safety concerns really are on both sides. For women, we think about, potentially being overpowered or, the man being aggressive. But for men, these days, and I mean, maybe all the days, but definitely these days, you have to worry about, getting set up and, somebody hopping out the closet and all kind of stuff and tying you up and robbing you. So
be in there with Cardi B.
Crazy. So, definitely do what provides you the greatest amount of safety and comfort. And then having that conversation like an adult, which it sounds like this person did, is best. And maybe, out the gate, like, hey, what does it look like for us to meet, or our first meeting or whatnot? Have that conversation so the expectations are there. And then even if it's not the first date, quite frankly, at whatever point in time you decide to go to his house or he's coming to your house, that's a feeling of like, oh gosh, right? Like, because anything can happen, or maybe you're just nervous, butterflies or whatever. For women, and I don't know if you guys do this, there's generally always at least one person, if not multiple people, who know where we are, right? Even for the most undercover low person, you always got one. Hey, I'm at such and such and so. This is license plate number. This is address. What it looks like.
Yeah, we don't normally do that. I know I did have a situation to where and I probably have to tell this story. I don't know if I'm ready to tell this story. I'll tell you off air. But
Off air, okay.
yeah, something happened to where I had to shoot a text like, "Hey, this is what happened. This is blah 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 blah, or whatever." So yeah, I was pretty freaked out.
Hashtag Boo heard us in the other room. He sent the recipe over, just so those of you who want to make your own. Vodka, so I guess that could be the Ciroc, Nuvo, Hypnotic, and Sprite. In my case, it's Sprite Zero. And he said he got it at a bar in Hawthorne years ago. So
in Hawthorne. What was he at, the Rocket bar or something like that? He probably listening. He'll send a message in.
Yeah, I was like, we'll confirm. But yes, it's very nice, refreshing drink. You can go ahead and take it in, and it's like, ooh,
Diddy water, huh?
Sneak up Diddy water. Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
I'm with it.
Okay.
All right.
What's the next question?
The next question: funerals. So, unfortunately, over the past few weeks, we have lost some legends in the hip hop community, icons, as a matter of fact, including our dear DMX, which I'm still not. Yeah, I'm not okay with that. Like, you would think I knew him, but I'm not okay. But these questions, watching some of the funeral services. Now, I will say, and I know we're going to talk about this during the live a little further. I always respected Tashira, at least from what I knew about her, but, kind of watching her stand there and, in essence, eulogize her husband and then, have that interaction with his new fiance and all of that. I was just like, hats off to all of y'all, because everybody's not able.
Right.
So the question was, do you allow exes, I'm assuming exes of your significant other, to attend the funeral of said significant other? Mm-hmm. Part B, what about family members who didn't like them? So this could be, boyfriend, girlfriend, fiance, husband, wife. Okay. Mm-hmm. So whatever that means to you. What about if your significant other doesn't want to go to your family member's funeral? And finally, would you feel a way if your significant other attended an ex's funeral? So let's take it from the top.
Okay.
Would you allow exes to attend the funeral of your significant other or wife? Yes.
Yeah. One. I mean, when there are a lot,
I remember when.
Yeah. But no, a lot of times, so insecurities like that when people are alive, usually if you're getting down to brass tacks, people are worried about whether or not they still have a shot or there's interaction or they're going to sleep together. Mm-hmm. My significant other's dead. Like,
it's over.
And
to the end
of the road. I'm gonna do Mike's part. And his talking part on that song was so problematic for me. Talking about all those nights when you were out with that other fella. I knew about it. I just didn't care.
I just didn't care. I was like,
I'm like, what, nigga?
Yeah.
I'm like, Russell Wilson.
I was like Mario Winans. I don't wanna know.
Yeah. Did you hear what I said before that?
No, what'd you say?
I said Russell Wilson wrote that shit.
Oh, or Russ.
I'm playing Russ. You my guy, Russ. You my guy.
Right. Okay.
So I do not hate Russ. I don't hate him. I think he's a great guy. I think what he does for his wife is great. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. I just think he is him.
Simping Russ.
Yeah, I do.
Called you a simp, Russ.
I did call him a simp, but hey, he's married. I'm not. So, and he's rich. So if I was rich,
and he's rich.
I'll give me a second. Okay, so yeah, I'm not worried about them coming to the funeral because she would have affected a lot of people's lives in different ways, and I think that they deserve the right to come and say their goodbyes regardless of the interaction. People are grieving, people are mourning, and who am I to deprive them the opportunity to mourn someone that was special to them, just because she was with me. Next, would I allow family members to come that didn't like her?
Yes. So your
Um,
family members that did not like her.
I don't know why they would want to come since they're my family members and they didn't like. But okay, what are you gonna do? You gonna get up there talking about? Well, I didn't really like her, but I'm coming. So like, I'm not. I'm there to pay my respect. So I'm gonna cover the whole gambit. I'm there to pay my respects and to bury my significant other, and I'm not worried about anybody else unless we have children together. Everybody else, whatever, you know. People want to come mourn, grieve in their own way. So be it. I'm not concerning myself with that. And if I'm and if I'm having the time and the brain space and the wherewithal to be able to worry about that, what was my relationship really like? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So where that's what's bothering me. And then the last one was,
would you feel away if your significant other, well, what if they don't want to go to your family member's funeral? So now your significant other is alive and well, but someone in your family, and I assume by family members, we're talking about like, mother, father, sister, brother, not like
I would have
great auntie.
I would have some feelings about it, but I would be like, listen, I know you don't want to go, but can you be there to support me? Like, I just lost a family member. So it's not like, can you not make it about them? But this is more about me, because regardless of your relationship with them, I'm still hurting.
Yeah.
But then again, you can't make somebody do something. So I would have feelings about it. Yeah. Because I would be more thinking like, hey, I need you right now. And you're putting.
And what if they were like, I mean, I'll support you. I don't want to go to the surface. Does that mean they do not support you? What if they're up with you at night, drying tears otherwise, but they're like,
yeah, but I think the service is probably where I'm gonna need the most support. Like we're eulogizing, we're celebrating. Like that's gonna be the hardest part, I believe, in my estimation. So
right.
Yeah, I'd have feelings about it.
Okay. And if your significant other attended an ex's funeral?
They did. Now, just as long as you ain't in there trying to jump in the casket.
Take me with you.
You're like, wait. Bitch, what? Hold on, I'm finna help. Scoot over, Nick. Take care of that shit real quick. I don't know. So no, I don't have a problem with it, but I would kind of side eye if you're just getting a little too emotional, like. You doing a little much because you got me, and I know it's not about me, but I'm gonna be sitting there looking real stupid, like, dang, why your girl so
emotional about this?
Exactly, yeah, she was giving that milk up. That's why. Yeah. So yeah, I'm like, hey, we gonna go, but you better do like them little silent tears, like just let them stream, something. But yeah.
Single tear. Glory.
Hey, did you ever notice how the music followed the tear? You got to check it out. Just like listen to the music when the tear drops. So there's a change once it falls.
Okay. I have to see about that. I think you summarized what I would say. Allowing the exes to attend. Like, my thought process is like, am I standing at the door with a clipboard? Like, I feel like.
You can't get in the club.
Yeah, I'm like, if you coming, you coming. Don't start no shit. But otherwise, like, we celebrating a great man. So I get it if you wanted to show up. Family members who didn't like them. Yeah, I can't see it because everybody loves #boo. They probably don't like me, but everybody now, my family loves me, but I don't see that happening. But again, if that was the case, if you liked him enough to show up, or if you just, hey, maybe I didn't like him, but I'm coming to pay my final respects. Again, don't start none, won't be none. but it will be some if you start some. Doesn't want to go to my family members. The only thing that I could think of, and not necessarily in this situation, but just generally, is like, some people don't do funerals, right? Like, I mean, and not that, we funeral hop or professional funeral goers, but like some people that is like they don't go to hospitals, they don't go to funerals. So I think if that was established way before, like I just knew that about them, it would still be hard, especially for like if I'm thinking about my parents or my sisters, like something that immediate and that close to me, I probably could get by on any other funeral. But if it was any of those, I would be like, please be with me. I definitely need support. So I understood what you were saying in your response, but otherwise I would try to find it in myself to understand if just generally, you don't do funerals and it was a service that I felt like, okay, I could manage. And then if my significant other attended an ex's funeral, I mean, go ahead, because I would definitely do that if I could, if one of my significant others or exes, I guess they're not significant, ex significant others passed, and it was something that I could do or someplace that I could be, I would want to go pay respects, I think, Now it's hard to say how you would react until something like that happens, right? Like, even if you don't want to be with somebody, you don't necessarily want them. Now, some people, I guess, might feel differently, but you don't necessarily want them dead. And then also depending on the circumstances around that, it could be emotional. So I would hope that I would be able to communicate that and not make my significant other or my husband feel threatened, or because again, like you said, he's dead. So there's nothing happening, but like where this emotion comes from is just like, dang, it's sometimes you don't even know. That could be like, oh, that was my first love, and I'm thinking about my own mortality. It might not even be about him. It's just like, oh God, I could be next type thing. So I get it where it could be touchy, but hopefully we would lean on some communication skills.
Right. Dig that. So this is the worst part of every show, because we would have kick it with our people, our roadies, for so much longer. But we're about to move into our final thoughts. So today was more of a gumbo of things. So what are your final thoughts, kind of like to sum it all up, all the things that we talked about tonight?
Well, first of all, I think it's established that we love to hear from you. So when you have, scenarios, whether they are your own or those that you talk about in your circles, your group chats, the Facebook groups that you're in, all of those things, go ahead and drop them in the group. First of all, if you are not a part of the Crossroads community, you can do so by going to bit.ly/the Crossroads and click the option that allows you to join our Facebook community. That's where we interact with you between shows and between lives. So really on a daily basis or multiple times a week, either I or Barzini or both of us are in there putting questions of the day in, we're responding, putting polls in, and that's our opportunity to glean from you and to hear from you directly. And we share things that are upcoming before anyone else knows about it. So the fact that we even made this switch up, I think we broadcasted in the group first, to let them know, like, this is what the new look is going to be. This is the direction that we're thinking of going in, even for our upcoming live. So please make sure that you submit that info or share that info with us. Some of you like to DM and send comments that way. That's fine as well. Email, but we do want to hear from you. Secondly, and I will probably say lastly, I definitely enjoyed reviewing these and talking about them with you. And I think the bottom line, continues to be not to just follow advice blindly. Like, it's crazy to me how many things I see on a regular basis, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or just kind of hearing water cooler talk, if you will, even though it's all virtual, but virtual water cooler talk. And I'm just like, do people really live by these things? And unfortunately, the answer is yes. So, not being afraid to, you don't have to challenge everything either. I think, for some people that's what they like to do, or that's what they will do. Sometimes the challenge is just in your own mind, right? Like, I'm challenging this by trying something else out, and make it work for you, make it work for your household, or make it work for your relationship. And then you can share alternatives in those posts if you want. But for the most part, just make sure that you're doing something or doing things that align with your personal values, with your happiness, and that of the person or people that you're closest to. And
you're so good at that.
Oh, tying it up.
You're right, tying it up. My final thoughts, it's just something that I've shared before, that make your own choices. Nobody can tell you that you're doing this thing right or wrong. Everybody's got different values, everybody's got different ideals, and everybody's just got different ways of living their life. So regardless of what the question or the scenario is, no one can tell you that you are right or wrong for the way that you do it or for the way that you see it. So I think lean more into your own heart and make decisions and do what feels good and feels right for you in your life and your relationship. Be that, I'm in this relationship and we're living together, but we're not married. But are you happy with this person? And so, like, you don't have to force the issue because someone else is talking about, you shacking up or you giving the milk for free or whatever. Like, how much does the milk cost? Is the milk for sale? So I would just say, like, do you follow your own heart, follow your own mind, because the world is always gonna have something to say regardless of what you choose anyway. So you might as well just go for it. And that's my final thoughts.
All right.
So, well, y'all, this has been yet another episode of The Crossroads.
Oh, before we go, we want to make sure that folks know, because it's by the time they watch this, it'll be Thursday, and it'll be the first Thursday. So we definitely want to invite you
to join us live. See. Yeah. Y'all,
identification.
Right. Join us live. You can join us via our Facebook page. You can join us via our Facebook community, or you can join us via YouTube. We are going to be in all three of those places simultaneously because we fancy like that. And we also invite you to join us. So when you see the live, we're going to post a link for you to be able to hop in and join us and share your thoughts and feelings. So, ladies, if you need to beat your face first, go ahead. We know some people get camera shy. If you don't know how to do it, contact Dre. She'll show you how you do your makeup for a nominal fee. Ain't nothing free. So yeah, come join us. And that's going to be 6 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Central, and 9 p.m. Eastern. Look how and those are daylight times, not standard times.
There you go.
Listen, I'm learning my time zones, y'all. So, but yeah, this has been another episode of The Crossroads. We love y'all. Thank you for joining us, and we hope that you're going to join us every week like you have been. And in parting, always remember, be free to be you. See y'all next week.
Peace.
We want to thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and register for our email list for more episodes and projects from your hosts, Barzini and Dre Renee. Until next time, this has been the XrossroadZ Podcast. And remember, Be free to be you.